to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, as always, coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 92.5. As always, man, giving it to the people like we do, man. I want to thank everybody in the comments. Before we even get started, man, we're going to be taking super chats later, and all of our exclusive members of the channel. We're gonna be taking care of you guys as well. But man, it's been a hell of I've been so busy over these last few days, man. But guess what? It don't stop. The birthday party just went down. Well, the birthday went down. The party kind of like went down as well, you know. But people been asking me, man. They said 58, man, 58. Is it anything you can tell me about that number? And I say, don't turn it. Because I woke up, my knee was killing me. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I didn't do anything. You know, I was in New York getting some business finished up with biographies and the treasures as well. And that cold weather up there, bro. That cold weather, I was there for 3 days. And the first day I felt fine. I'm in the gym. I'm jumping around the gym like Muhammad Ali, throwing punches, shadow boxing, you know, this young kid in there. He was 23 years old. And I literally just blew him out of the gym. I mean, I'm out doing push-ups. I'm doing more pull-ups. I'm more reps on the bench. You know what I mean? Everything. I'm just blowing him out. And then the next day, I felt pretty good. And then the following day, still, I'm up there because I got a chance to go to my homies. Bruce Pritchard had his birthday party, man. Big ups. Shout out Bruce. Shout out to Bruce Pritchard, my partner in crime, who helped me so much with reality wrestling as well. But I woke up, man, the day that I had to go to this party, Saturday, and my knee was killing me, man. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I didn't do anything. It was just that cold and that shift in that cold weather, man. So my thing is, man, don't turn 60. Just go and check out.
Just it's over.
Just check out.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, you know, like I was watching the Oscars last night. And they had this one actor up there, who was in that Everything Everywhere All at Once movie. He's 94. You know what I mean? 94 years old, still acting, still doing it, man. And he, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Asian people, they age really well. But you know how old he looked? About 94. Like, I felt bad when I saw him. I'm like, man, that guy's still around. Like, I remember him from the 90s, you know, and he was old then.
Yeah. It's amazing when you see some old people, and you never can't even imagine a picture of them being young.
Right.
You ever had that feeling with some people?
100%. 100%. Yeah. Even Morgan Freeman, who was on the show last night, even though he's sporting the baldy now, Morgan Freeman's sporting the baldy. But even he looks the same old that he's looked for the last 20, 30 years.
You know, black don't crack, you know. You know, he's holding up very, very well. And the thing is,
you know what they say about white people?
What's that?
We age like bananas.
Just don't leave out too long.
A week later, we're like, we got spots.
Sunscreen, everything. I'm serious, man. Oh man, it's crazy, dog. But no, man, it's been a hell of a weekend for myself. I ran into Conrad Thompson.
Yes, Connie.
Yeah, you know, and I've been looking to run into Conrad Thompson for a long time. You know, so we got a chance to sit down, you know, face to face, man to man, and you know, and it was cool though. It was real cool. You know, nothing but respect for Conrad Thompson. I just want to say that I was telling them the story about the list that came out, 10 people that Booker T hates. He wasn't on the list. Conrad,
he wasn't. No, he
wasn't on the list. But I was telling him about the William Regal thing when it said I hated William Regal, and I told William Regal, man, I love you, man. I'm like, you know, don't ever think, you know, that I hate you. I ever thought or felt that way ever. You know what I mean? I love you. And after at the end of Conrad's conversation, and I say, you know, bro, I love you, man. You know, seriously, because I just want people to know, man, I ain't got nothing but love in my heart for people. I'm like one of the most forgiving people in the world. But I can, be one of those type of people to where, man, I don't want to ever see you again in my life. And I can mean that too. But I really just wanted to, get that thing, behind me as far as, Conrad and I, because Conrad, he's a guy he's an entrepreneur. He's a guy who's just like me. He's a go-getter. And for me, I'm always looking to work with someone like that, opposed to work against someone like that.
Yeah, Conrad's done a lot for a lot of the guys, give them platforms and getting money in their pockets and doing a lot for the business. So yeah, I'm like you. I've never had any bad thing to say about Conrad Thompson. I'm glad that y'all got to run into each other because I mean, there's been a couple of people over the years where you're like, man, I don't want to say anything until I see them, right? And we can actually sit and hash it out, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like Conrad was on the short list of people who that worked out well for.
No, but he was one of those guys. You never heard me say anything on social media, on the show or anything, just because I don't like, I'm like one of them like John Wayne, old school like type guys. I want to see you in high noon in the middle of town. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this. Let's do this. One of the two, but nah, man. It was definitely refreshing. We had a really cool conversation, just talking about the business too, as far as what this business is today and how people like myself, people like him, can actually keep it going. So yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm up and ready to go.
Who else? What other luminaries were there at the party that you got to rub shoulders?
Brian Gwertz.
Right? Oh, Brian, yes, friend of the show.
So I made sure I said it right. You
did say it right.
Then JBL, of course, Mr. Briscoe was there as well, man. I hadn't seen Mr. Briscoe in quite some time, man. So he's one of my guys, man. I love that dude, man. He's always been like totally on my side, in my corner, since I've been in that company. So definitely it was awesome seeing Mr. B. But yeah, man, of course, and my man Bruce Pritchard, turned that number, big 6-0. That's a milestone. That's an achievement, especially in this business. So yeah, man, congratulations.
I have to ask because I don't know if he was there or not, but I have to ask if he was there because there's been a lot going on about this man, and I want to ask 2 questions. Was Vince McMahon there? And if he was, does he really have a mustache? Because this is what everybody's been talking about. Yeah. I have firsthand information about the mustache, by the way, but I have to ask, was he there?
No, Vince wasn't there. If he was, he made an appearance, and it was quick dip, outside, you know what I mean, in the car.
That old Irish goodbye.
Yeah, one of those type of deals, you roll up, window comes up, zzz, the limo. The handshake or come inside real quick, much love, hand off the package, and then move on. One of those type of deals.
Did you hear about the McMahon mustache? This is the talk of the internet.
I heard about it.
I have a source. I won't say who, but I have a source who reported to me about this mustache, and they say it looks just like. Have you ever seen the Addams Family? It looks like a Gomez Addams style.
Yeah, the little
pencil stash,
the little puree.
I can't even imagine it, and I want to see it so bad because for 30 or 40 years he's been clean shaven, no stubble, no ruffle, nothing,
as well as a darker do.
Oh, he's dyed the hair.
I don't know if it's dyed or not. I didn't say that. It's darker though. We got to take a break. Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
In order to kick some ass, you gotta bring some. I wasn't born the chosen one. I became the chosen one. Through hard work, determination, and winning.
The chosen one, victorious.
You're gonna be a big star. You already are.
I'm stronger and I'm faster than anyone they ever put me in the ring with. Being the chosen one isn't just a nickname, it's a gift. And professional wrestling is my gift. That is an absolute, guaranteed. What's my name again?
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We doing it. We doing it. We doing it big. But man, we got a lot to talk about. I don't even know we started. What do you think, Brad? No, we got super chats, right?
We do have super chats, and we're definitely going to get to them. And if you're a channel member here at Reality Wrestling, we really appreciate it. You get access to the first 100 episodes of Reality of Wrestling, and our exclusive membership vault. New content is going to be coming to our channel members. It only starts at $4.99 a month. That's actually not a bad deal, BT. For everybody out there.
I like it, and I like it a lot. And the thing is, do it now.
Why's that?
Do it for you.
100%. I mean, we can start all over the place. You know what? Why don't we start with a couple of the Hall of Fame announcements? This is the Hall of Fame, and we have one official person who's going to be inducted. We know there are two rumors about other people, but let's get to the one that we know is going to happen. Rey Mysterio, your boy. Who came in, was in ECW for a while, came over to WCW, and then really made his career in WWE. Royal Rumble winner, World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion. List goes on and on. Probably the greatest luchador of all time, is officially going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame the night before WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, California. He's a San Diego representer, so it's in the home state, if you will. I know that you probably feel that he's more than deserving. You had one of your best WWE matches, in my opinion, with Rey Mysterio at the Great American Bash for the World Heavyweight Championship. What do you think of Rey going in the Hall?
I mean, it's a no-brainer, man. Rey is, well-deserving of being in the Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. Stuck around long enough just to see his boy, get his feet wet, and now Dominic is rolling. Dominic's rolling. He's one of those popular stars on the show right now, honestly.
He's a reason to watch.
No, seriously. So to see Rey go in while he's still out there doing it. And one thing about Rey's had a lot of surgeries on his knees, and but you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it by the way the guy goes out and perform each and every night in that ring. You always see the athlete that lose a step. And I honestly can't say I've watched Rey Mysterio lose, a step. If so, it's been very, very little. It's been marginal. But to see Rey get a chance to go in, I mean, I'm sure his family is going to be so proud of, seeing Rey make that walk. And I heard that he, wanted Conan to induct him into the Hall of Fame. That right there is something that's going to be special. Those two guys have been connected at the hip since the beginning of, Rey Mysterio's career. Rey probably give Conan more credit than anyone for getting him his start in his business and, getting him here to actually do what he does so well. So, yeah, man, it's going to be great. And not only that, Rey Mysterio probably has more fans, literally individually. Rey Mysterio perhaps has more fans than any one superstar in this business. And I ain't jiving, man. I'm serious. I ain't talking about The Rock, because The Rock is a Hollywood guy. But as far as wrestlers go, luchadors go, Rey Mysterio perhaps is the most popular superstar ever.
You could definitely make that case. I know that when he came in 2002, I think it was, to WWE, it didn't take more than a couple of seconds for me to be all in on Rey Mysterio. I mean, he was just cool. And I think, as far as, like, if you have that preconceived notion of what WWE is looking for, it's like, oh, we need you to be 6'2", 252, jack chiseled, whatever. Ray comes in, way under that, but probably is I don't know, the number one, if you call him a small guy, I don't even know if that's the right thing to say, but he's the number one smaller size guy, I think, of all time in WWE. Can you name anybody who's had a better career coming in undersized when probably the expectations of Rey Mysterio was to never be the world champion, was to never be a Royal Rumble winner, was to never even be a Hall of Famer. But he went out there and he had that connection with the audience. He had the 619, which is still one of the most popular moves ever. Dial it up, 619. I remember Michael Cole saying that so many times on commentary. And I think it's great. And he figured it out because Ray, if he wants attention when he goes out in public, put the mask on. If he doesn't want any attention, take the mask off. It's a great gimmick. It's a great, because I remember the time he came down to Reality Wrestling, that's what he had told me, because we were at Top Golf after that. I don't know if you remember, we went to Top Golf after, because I think it was actually Ray's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's coming up the book asking for pictures, autographs, this, that, and the other. I mean, 100 people must have come up to you during the night. And Ray was sitting there. Ray Mysterio sitting right there.
Yeah.
Mask off. Nobody knows who the hell he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
It's a nice luxury.
Nah, man. Definitely one of those things, man. Rey Mysterio is one of those guys that you look at him in the ring, and that's just one part of Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is one of those guys, is like the most nicest guys, one of the most humble guys. I've never seen Ray really, really mad or ticked off, other than it being something about, I can't even speak on. But it had to be something that was irking him to have him perplexed, just because he's always been that guy. So much energy, always brought so much to the table. To see Ray go in, it's going to be awesome. I just wish Eddie was here to see it. That's all. I just wish Eddie was here to see this. I'm sure Eddie would be so proud to see Rey Mysterio actually make that walk on that stage. And I can't wait. I'm excited actually to be there. And then we heard about two rumors. One in the great Muta, who just retired, who just had his last tour. That's what I call it.
He had a farewell tour.
I wouldn't call it a last match. He had a last tour. But that dude was great, man. He was one of those guys that was so awesome, so innovative, so well before his time. The great Muta. He was a guy that I watched in awe, and when I got in the business, that's one of the guys who I wanted to take a little piece from and go out there and make it my own. And when Great Muta hit the ropes and the way he came off, just say, for instance, guy would drop down, the way he would go over that guy was so dynamic and so energetic. I say, man, I want a piece of that. And that's what I stole from the great Muta's arsenal. One of the other things, he used to drop an elbow, and that elbow drop was so quick. In my earlier career, I used to do that, but I was like, man, my hip is going to be killing me if I do that for too long. So I stopped doing that one real quick. But now the great Muta was someone who touched me in so many ways. And then also, who was it? Stacy Keibler.
Stacy Keibler's the other rumor.
That's just a rumor. That's not something that's definite, etched in stone or anything like that. So, but I would love to see someone like Stacy Keibler actually make that walk on the stage, because she was another one who did so much for this business. Stacy, she was she was someone you did not want to change the channel when Stacy Keibler was on, man, and she didn't have to take one bump. That was the beauty about her career.
Oh, I mean, Stacy Keibler, yes, obviously was an attention getter for me when I was watching Monday Night Raw coming up. We almost forget how good we had it as a young man coming into his teenage years. I mean, at that one time on the roster, you got Lita, you got Trish, you got Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler. I mean, the list went on and on and on. Sable, respectfully.
Yeah.
I'm saying all this respectfully.
Yeah,
but, that's Mrs. Lesnar.
Bro, I ain't talking about Mrs. Lesnar. I'm talking about Sable.
About Sable.
Yeah, that's a different person.
I'm talking about Sable. No, I mean, yeah, all of them just great beauty. So it was a great time to be a young man coming up in the wrestling world. But really, for Stacy Keibler, I think and maybe I'm way off on this, but I think because Stacy was like the first wrestler to really, in my opinion, cross over into like full Hollywood acceptance because she did Dancing with the Stars. I think she was the first wrestler on Dancing with the Stars. That kind of made people start looking at this a little bit different. She started dating George Clooney. So you almost had like this A-list wrestler woman, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it may have turned the tide a little bit about the national conversation of wrestling. And I mean that sincerely. And I think that sometimes we think about the contributions of the business just inside the squared circle. But a lot of times you have to look at what these women have done outside. And I think that Stacy Keibler doing the stuff that she's done, even going back to people like the Bella Twins and what they did with the reality show, bringing a whole new audience into WWE. That's why these women are still recognized for the accomplishments and the what they've been able to give back to this industry because they brought more than your normal audience in.
Yeah, I mean, you speak on that as far as Stacy being a crossover. I mean, Stacy, you got to understand, Stacy, she was a superstar, man. She really didn't know how big she was. I really don't think so. At one point in time, and then she started maturing, and then you start seeing the difference in Stacy Keibler, and you go, "Wow, man, she is definitely on another level." And the thing is, even though she was a wrestler, and I know at that point in time, you know, they had the divas, but Stacy was like a supermodel. She was someone that you could put in vogue.
Yeah.
I mean, she was definitely one of a kind. That's why, for me, Stacy getting this nod, if she does get that nod and decide to walk on the stage, me personally, I ain't gonna be mad at it. Not one time, not one time, not one bit. Just to see Stacy walk just one more time, and those like, hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. See, you thinking about something else. I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
I am the Rocket, Josiah John. I'm training at Reality of Wrestling. I've wanted to be a wrestler since I was a little kid, since watching it with my dad for the first time and seeing guys like Booker T wrestle. That's what I knew. That's what I wanted to do. So I just had to take that leap, take that drive, and chase some dreams. The greatest thing about reality wrestling is all the knowledge that's here. From all the trainers, Brian Davidson, Brian Key, I am the Rocket. Yeah. One day, Booker T just called me Rocket.
And I got to give him a cool name, man. And Rocket is just something that stuck out with me. And I think that's something that's going to stick with him for a long time. He had Rocket on his shirt. I don't know if you noticed that, but he's definitely he's falling into it, man. And he's really buying into what this thing really, truly is. And if he could just keep his mind on point and stay focused, he definitely could do something in this business.
I feel like I've been doing really well training here. Just coming as much as I can. Come early to work out before the actual training. We have like a whole gym for people to work out. What would I say to somebody that's on the fence about joining reality wrestling? I would just tell you to just take the leap. Because everybody here is going to take care of you and help you get to where you need to be. You can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm over here biting my fingernails. Yeah, man. We got a whole lot we got to talk about here inside the Hall of Fame today. But I got to, of course, I got to get my NXT work in. And everybody know what went down on NXT last week with my girl, Roxanne Perez. Had an incident at the end of her match with Meiko Satomura. And I tell you, man, it was one of those situations to where I've never been in as far as seeing one of my students, just like my little girl, to see one of my kids go down. That's the way I felt seeing Roxanne go down. And for me, I can't wait to actually just get back to work, and hopefully she will get back on track and be able to go out there and defend her championship and move forward with her career. Because that's one thing about this thing. You never know what curves life is going to throw you. You know what I mean? You just never know. And that's one thing about I always talk about this business. And one day things could be one way, and the next day something could be totally different. So for me, there again, I just want to see that young girl continue to flourish and move on in her career more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, for all of us who know, Roxanne, we'll say, it was not something that you want to see, obviously, and for her to be at the age she is and in the run that she's having, right? I mean, she's having this is the biggest run of her career so far. You don't want to see anything bring that to an end abruptly speaking, and so yeah, I mean, hopefully she's there. I'm assuming she'll be there. I mean, I know that they said they released her out of the hospital there. But I mean, if she's there tomorrow, definitely give her my best for me book. But I know that it's nothing anybody ever wants to see. And people who know her from reality wrestling, like I think we care on a different level than. I'm not saying that the fans don't care, but we care at a stronger level.
Yeah,
And it always hurts to see, and you never want to see anybody ever get hurt or have an issue of any kind. And especially now one like right now, like we're close to stand and deliver. We're close to Mania weekend. This would be like the first time that she can experience something like that. So I hope that she is still able to moving forward,
Yeah.
So definitely give us an update when we have the show later in the week, BT. Let us know how she's doing. You know what, though? Why don't we get to a couple of super chats before we move on with anything? Because I still want to get your opinion on so much is happening in the wrestling world. But let's go to our man. I got to give him his theme song right now because he came in with the super chat. Here is Mr. Cali Toenail.
And if you find the tenderoni that is right for you.
All right, thank you, Bobby Brown. Cali Toenail says, Roadblock was good. BT commentary, LMAO at Green Cholula. It's about to get hot. I got 99 problems and a ain't one. Vic, I saw you eating 3 ice cream sandwiches this morning. PT was letting it fly on the fly. I will say, before you say anything, I was at the grocery store yesterday going down the aisles, and I passed my Cholula green hot sauce. And in my head, I was like, hot like that Cholula green, dog.
Hey, man. Hey, man. I'm just having fun, man. I'm just having fun. Doing the commentary thing and being able to hang out there again with the young guys down at NXT and bring that flavor to the NXT commentary is really, really cool. And I did see Vic eat 3 ice cream sandwiches earlier that day, and I was like, bro, what the hell are you doing?
Wait, that was a shoot? That's for real?
That was a shoot. That was a shoot. I wasn't playing. I was like, bro, you're going to be so fat and out of shape by the time you get 40. I'm like, you can't be doing that. And he was like, man, they taste good. And they were those thick ones. You know what I mean? Those big, thick, I don't even know what they're called. But Klondike, like those big Klondikes, those. Yeah. And I'm like, man, you can't be eating like that. But no, that Cholula green, man, get a little Cholula green. Let's get this thing hot. Let's crank this thing up. So my thing is I'm about having fun at that table more than anything. And I have fun every week. And it's a hard job because there's so much going on. There's so many guys. And I'm still trying to get familiar with everything that's going on as far as the players. Even though I've been there for a minute, it's still something fresh and something new for me. And hopefully it won't ever stop being like that.
I'm sure it won't. I mean, it sounds like you're having a ton of fun out there. And that's definitely the secret, right? Is you got to enjoy what you're doing. But let me ask you this. What is your normal commentary preparation? Like, do you sit and think of like, oh, look, they're serving Cholula green at this taco spot. That might be funny. Cholula green's hot. Let me write that down.
You know what?
Like, where's that come from?
Sometimes I do hottie biscotti stuff like that. Terms I've heard before. I write them down. But prepping for the show is easy because I'll prep like tonight for tomorrow, and then I'll prep some more tomorrow for the show. But just like, say, for instance, you got someone like Zoe Starks, who's looking to come up. My thing is I've worked in the main event. I've worked on SmackDown. I've worked on Raw, and it's great being in NXT. But do not think for a minute that Zoe Starks do not want to be in the main event at WrestleMania against Charlotte Flair. If she don't want to think that, she needs to go work on the indies. It's easy for me to say that because it's real. It's true. So stuff like that, I'll write down just to make sure it's something that I want to hit. And it's just, I'll put it in a note form, just note, just to make sure I put certain people over in a certain way. But prepping for the show is just like a match. You got to, know your spots. You got to know, when you get in the hot tag. you got to know when, it's the semi-comebacks spots, whatnot. You got to know when to take it home. And then you got to know when to lay out as well as being a commentator. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things to where, I don't even really, I call Vic the commentator. I'm Vic's, just second, in command, second in control. But it's hard for me to, look at myself as a commentator.
Yeah,
More as an analyst,
But that's the role that you facilitate, right? I mean, a color commentator is an analyst. It's like explaining to the layman, hey, this is why they're doing this. This is what this might mean. I was there at one point. So normally all the great color guys were guys who did it or girls who did it before. You know what I mean? It's one thing for Howard Cosell to sit there and do his thing and talk about being truculent tonight, Muhammad. But it's another thing if you have a Sugar Ray Leonard sitting there breaking it down for you.
Yeah, because he knows the X's and O's. He
Right.
knows exactly, when that guy take that step to the left, he knows exactly what it means. When that guy faint and the other guy bites on it, he sees exactly what happened and why it happened. And the regular layman, there's no way he could see that because he hadn't been, in those shoes.
Or, if you're watching football and you're thinking, man, why are they running this play? And then Tony Romo explains it to you. You're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. But I would have never saw that had it not been explained to me before. So the analyst role, I think, is a needed one. I like the 2-man too. The 3-man booth works for certain circumstances, but I do like the 2-man on NXT. I think a third voice in there would be a crowd.
I think so as well. Yeah.
So, if Pat McAfee ever comes back, I'm sorry, Wade.
Oh, he ain't coming back.
Pat's gone, huh? Pat's done.
He's done. He's finished.
Wrap him up. He's done. Pat McAfee not coming back. But that's the thing too, is I think that for you, the timing aspect is so already there because you had to learn timing as a performer, right? And you would know when you would want the commentator to lay out, right?
Yeah, definitely. As well as I would know when I would want the commentator to, boost me up and pump me up at the same time.
Mhm.
And that's something that, Vic and I, is a work in progress, trying to make sure we get the right feel and the right balance, throughout the show. And one thing I do is I make sure I give Vic that leeway to, take us, certain places because that's his job. That's what he's getting paid to do. And there again, even Vic, perhaps love NXT, to the utmost, but I'm sure Vic wants to, be on that SmackDown stage. I'm sure he wants to be on that Raw stage and working in these pay-per-views, at that desk as well. So my job is to do as much as I possibly can to help him, get to that point too. And to help him get to that point, I got to let him talk. You do everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Just toss me up a couple of softballs and we'll get this thing done. But nah, man, it's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely. And I think with any great commentary team, you gotta let them know when they can get their stuff in and when we're trying to get to business too, right?
Definitely.
Like you want to lay out on certain spots, but you don't want to lay out when they got a rear chin lock on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And this is a part where we can make movies happen when we got this little lull in the action.
Yes, most definitely. That's when it's time to start talking about toxic attraction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's time to get this biscotti, get a dose of this biscotti, something like that. But guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with my man, Brad Gilmore. And guys, we doing it big from here on ESPN 97.5, 92.5. We still got a whole lot to talk about. Brad, super chats.
Well, we still have plenty. Do you want to get to them now?
Let's keep them rolling.
All right. Well, I knew this subject was going to be unavoidable, but let's get to our next super chat.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was a little late on that one. This comes from Paul Patterson. Are you still dead from Saturday, Brad? Ha ha. Yes, of course. People who follow me on the social media, or if you were there, the World Gym Arena, you saw my failed attempt to go out there and win the last stand match on Saturday.
I tried to tell you, man. I tried to tell you to stay out of it. I tried to tell you, but you just wouldn't stop. You know, and the thing is, guys, if you run this business long enough, you get the bug. You want to get in the ring. You feel like, hey, I could do this. There's a lot of guys sitting on their sofas on a Saturday afternoon watching one of their local wrestling programs, and they see some guys out there doing it. And they say, man, I could do this. I think I could do this. And they get out there and they get the hell beat out of them. They're sore for a month, and I'm glad Brad got a chance to experience it, because every man should get a chance to experience combat at least one time in their life. And Brad, congratulations. That was your
Look at that.
That was your time to shine, and that was your last time. Okay, I just want to let you know that.
That's more than fine with me, because I found a new best friend over these last couple of days. It's my therapy gun here. It's been really helping me get some of the muscle soreness and the lactic acid buildup out of the old trapezius muscles and the like. Yeah. I will say, although I had the utmost respect for everybody who's ever entered the ring before, afterward, and I don't know did you see the footage, Book? I don't know if you saw the footage.
I saw it. Yeah.
What is your assessment of the footage? Let me ask you this first.
We'll talk about that off the
okay. But I will say a new profound level of respect for anyone who's ever laced them up, because there's a little adrenaline the night of, right? But the next morning, it was a challenge. I'll just put it that way. It was a real, and I'm not even joking. I was in there for maybe 90 seconds, and if that, and it was a real challenge to wake up and to get out and to hobble down the steps in the morning to try to feed the cat. You know what I mean? I still got a little issue going on with the right leg, and you know what? But in all seriousness, it's just I could not imagine doing that on a weekly or multiple times a week. For me, as long as people like yourself has. I mean, it's incredible. And for anybody who thinks, oh man, this is easy, anybody can do it, that is not the answer. You are absolutely incorrect. And to everybody who's ever trained and taken a bump and did what they did for the sacrifice of the audience, including myself's entertainment, I mean, hats off to it, because it's an incredible sacrifice that's taken by everybody. And I mean that seriously. I'm glad that I got to experience it once. Once was more than enough for me. Yeah, I have no plans. I'm going to officially retire now, because I'm serious. It is an incredible sacrifice.
The adrenaline dump. People don't realize that. And for me, my whole career, I stayed laser focused, for 20 years, easy, just because I knew if I stopped, it's no way I was going to be able to get back going. I say that it was going to be over it. That was going to be it. That's why at the end of my WWE run, I thought that was it. And then TNA said, hey man, we'll give you a schedule of like 60 days a year. You could. So I was like, man, I'm still good enough to do that. Let me go pick this money up. And then when I came back to WWE, I was like, man, I'm done. I'm finished. And do a one-off here, a one-off there every now and then has been cool. But I tell you, after that Rumble, this last Rumble, just like yourself, that adrenaline dump was a monster because the day before I felt great. I felt like a Superman, but I felt like Superman after the kryptonite had hit me that next day and the week after. And the week after, it took me 3 to 4 weeks to get myself back on track after that. And it wasn't for going out there doing a whole lot in the ring. It was the adrenaline, that flow that's going through your body that, you know, you can't even explain it. I'm gonna tell you, it's unexplainable. The feeling that you get going out there and doing something like that. So I get it, totally understand 100%. Stay out of that ring, man.
Oh yeah. No, it's definitely not something for me. However, I will say I can only imagine what the adrenaline dump was like for you in San Antonio with how many people were there? 70,000, something, 60,000, some crazy number. And all screaming at the top of their lungs. Some of those videos are still iconic from a fan perspective.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
And I'm sure it does. It masks all the pain. Yeah. Right. And
no, I mean, every night, a lot of times it was like that. For me, just walking around, I feel banged up, dinged up, my elbow hurt, my knee is sore, but then I put my boots and my tights on and everything goes away. Everything, all the pain goes away. I go to the ring, perform, come back, get to the hotel, I'm a little, crickety, but I'm okay. But wake up that next morning, I'm like, oh man, same thing. Get to the arena, put the boots on, all the pain goes away every time. Wow. It was crazy. It was magical what that adrenaline would do for you and those fans cheering your name. Seriously.
I will also say this. This is a little behind the curtain, but we were waiting for final approval for this little thing to happen, right? And in the back of my mind, I was like, there's no way approval is going to be given for this, right? And so we're about 10, 15 minutes from showtime, and I'm hitting Booker up like crazy, right? I'm hitting Booker up like crazy, trying to make sure, what was going to happen. And then in the back of my mind, I wanted to make sure that he was going to say, it's off, don't do it. No go, Brad. But you said the two words that will haunt my memory forever. You're in,
bro. You want to get in there and do it? I'm a promoter. You want to jump off something? Let's just try to find you a soft spot to land. That's the way we're gonna do this.
Do you want to know my favorite thing though? Is I posted a little thing on Instagram, and I woke up this morning, and I had Facebook messages from promoters asking if I'm taking bookings. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Y'all out of y'all's god dang minds.
That's stupid. We're serious.
100%. 100%.
Oh my god.
Oh, it made me laugh uncontrollably. But yes, I am still recovering, Paul Patterson, and I hope everyone who got to see it enjoyed it. I think we have time for another one.
Yeah, we got time.
This is from
Super Chat
DJ 1491, who said, "Book, why did the Wrestling Observer vote you one of the worst commentators? You're the main reason I watch NXT. Is it the AEW fans hating?" I didn't know about this.
You know what?
This is news to me.
I normally wouldn't go. I normally wouldn't go here, but Wrestling Observer. That's Dave Meltzer, right?
That's Dave Meltzer.
Dave Meltzer probably has never heard a black commentator before ever. He probably doesn't even know what shucky ducky quack quack means. He probably has never had a hottie biscotti, not once. You know what I mean? So when I hear some old white guy like Dave Meltzer vote me the worst, he probably never hung out with a brother. I'm serious. He probably has no friends like me. And the thing is, it's hard to get a feel of something that you have no feel of. I get it 100%. Why the Observer would vote me the worst, because they've never seen anything like me before. It's always been somebody like them. Okay? And that's the difference, I think.
Hey, man, I think if Dave Meltzer votes you the worst, that means you're doing something right.
No, for me,
100%.
like I say, like most people like that, they've never been around people like myself. They, when they hear me say Cholula Green is about to get hot, that's foreign to them because I'm not saying it the normal way that they have heard it for the last how many years this business has been.
Forever.
How many black commentators have we had?
There's been only a few, right?
Other than Byron Saxton and Byron.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Could be considered.
Do not fix your lip to say it.
No, but how many?
There hasn't been a lot. There has not been a lot.
Jonathan Coachman, myself, Byron Saxton. How many other black commentators
in WWE? I can't think of any others.
In WCW.
Yeah, I mean, I know your brother did it for a minute, right?
Yeah, my brother did it for a minute, but outside of my brother, in ECW, in MCW, in NECW,
AWA, or
I mean, you haven't seen any, so I get it when someone like that would do something, say something like that about me because they have no feel of soul. They don't know what that is about. So
he never had a hottie biscotti.
He never had a hottie biscotti. Not once.
Put that on a shirt.
Not once in his life. So I appreciate that. Now stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. We just we straight shooting it. It's a shoot interview. Inside the Hall of Fame, man. ESPN 975-92.5, guys, giving it to the people like they want it on a weekly, man. But where we going, man? Where we going?
Well, I want to just follow up on one thing we were just talking about. You were apparently voted worst commentator by the Wrestling Observer, which is run by Dave Meltzer. I will say that I don't know if you remember this era in hip hop, but there was a time to where if Bill O'Reilly, who was formerly of Fox News, if he talked bad about you and said, "Man, I don't like this music. This guy Ludacris is the worst," or Cameron is the worst, or whatever, it was almost a badge of honor. Like you held it in high regard. You're like, "Oh yeah, Bill O'Reilly talked negatively about me. I must be on to something," right? I think that people probably hold as much weight in the opinion of people like Dave Meltzer in this particular circumstance, because I think for him to say that you're the worst must mean something else. Because, and this is no disrespect to Tony Khan, but Tony Khan won best booker or best promoter or something like that.
Best booker,
4 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Tony Khan booked the Bloodline storyline. I'm just saying.
No,
right?
but people, that's the thing, man. I'm all about people having their opinions.
100%.
I mean, that bothers me not one bit, but it just it tells you a lot about the person there again, because, I could almost bet that he haven't had dinner with anybody that looked like me ever, not too often in his life. So he doesn't know a whole lot about, what I'm all about, what I'm bringing to the table, which is going to be totally different than any meal that he's had before. I'm sure the way I cook fried chicken, he's never eaten it like that ever before in his life. Trust me, and it's good. It's real good. I'm serious. I mean, the way I eat my steak, it ain't gonna be medium rare. You know what I mean? It's gonna be well cooked. Let's just say that. So I get it. I understand. There's a difference. There's a disconnect. Let's just say that with myself and a lot of people that listen to my commentating, but the young people that's listening to the show that's between 18 and 30, they get it. They understand because they're having fun more so than anything. And if I miss speak sometime, that's just me. I misspeak every now and then.
But I would rather you misspeak being authentic than to say everything grammatically correct, but in a vanilla way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I just can't do it like that. They've tried to make me that guy, and I can't be that guy. And, and me personally, making mistakes is something that everyone does in this business because it's not Hollywood. We don't get a chance to say, cut. Let's redo that. This is live and in living color, and we got to go with it as is. And sometimes, we make mistakes. I see it on CNN all the time. They say something, they misspeak, and you know what they say? They say, hey, excuse me, and they start right over. That's what they do. So I've learned that. Very, excuse me. That's what they do.
Even I don't know if you saw Shannon Sharp even hit the excuse me after he said he was talking about something. He was like, that's like giving me fried chicken and chocolate. What the am I going to do with that? And then he's like, oh, excuse me.
Exactly. That's what you do in situations like that. But I'm not perfect. And I'm sure they would love to see someone else in that chair other than me. And the reason why, we ain't even got to talk about that.
We don't have to. I feel you. This next one comes from
Super Chat.
Esino Dub, who says, what's y'all's opinion of the Brock versus Omos match? And did you get to check out the rodeo this year? Book, first off, did you go to the rodeo this year? Any plans to? And then what do you think of Brock and Omos?
I missed it. Both of them.
What do you mean? But they haven't wrestled yet. Brock and Omos.
Okay. Okay. No.
You said that extra confident too. Like you knew it went down, but I did not see it.
I don't know if it went on last week.
That was Book's way of getting out of commenting on it.
I thought it went down over the week or something that I missed. I've been busy, man. I've been busy. But now, Brock Omos. This is one of those things. I've talked about this match right here.
Yeah.
For his Brock Lesnar versus Omos. Brock Lesnar, he's a babyface now.
Yeah.
Okay. Brock Lesnar needs someone to work with. Mm-hmm. Brock Lesnar needs somebody to work with from a perspective where, we don't know how long Brock is going to be around in the business, but we know Brock still got some left in the tank, and we know he's got a lot still to give, okay? Working with someone like Omos, this is a giving moment for someone like Brock Lesnar. This is someone that Brock Lesnar can actually be married to from a perspective. That's what we used to say back in the day. Being married to someone means that you're going to be working with someone over an extensive amount of time. So putting Brock Lesnar with someone like Omos, where Omos could actually really go out there and get over and bring Brock to a level to where Brock is always going to be the one as far as the David versus Goliath. He's going to come back and, conquer. But to actually get to that point, and I don't like booking the show or anything like that. That's not my job. But I really think this could be a really good thing for Omos and Brock Lesnar over a 6-month period if it work out that way. That's just my opinion.
When I first heard the match, I was like, I don't know about this. But as it's gotten closer, I actually really like it. And I think Kurt Angle said that Brock Lesnar is at a point in his career where obviously he's going to be winded down sooner or later. And Kurt said, why not make some guys on the way out? And I think that you're absolutely right, Book. You mean Brock Lesnar, for all the crap he gets for like, oh, he only does suplexes and this and that. every match he's had in this last 11 years that he's been back in WWE has almost every single one of them has been memorable, right? That's hard to do. Now, obviously, he doesn't work as many matches as most people do, but when he does, you feel him, and he does it so well, and his timing is so great. His selling is underrated. And for Omos, I think that learning how to do a couple of those things, learning how to sell, learning your timing a little bit when you're a big guy like that, hard to get sympathy on. You can learn stuff like that from Brock Lesnar. So I actually am really excited to see them wrestle at WrestleMania, which is not a sentence I thought I would say 3 weeks ago.
Well, like I say, I'm looking at it from a worker's perspective to where how much can I get out of both of these guys and how long can I get that out of them more than anything. And I really think this could be something really, really big for Omos' career. Getting in the ring with Brock Lesnar, that right there is, a stamp, a mark, on the belt for him. Just that alone. But I think being able to, like you say, for Brock Lesnar to be the teacher in this situation and teach Omos what it actually really means to go out there and be a big man, taking on another big man is so, so, so important. You can learn a lot from this match.
Absolutely. So we have another super chat here before we have to go to another break. This is from Brooklyn Brian, who says Hulk Hogan was Ichiban #1 versus the Great Muta. All right. Yeah, I know they had some good matches. Hogan always worked really well when he was in Japan. He was one of those guys who did well in Japan. This is also from Brooklyn Brian following that up and saying, is Damage Control breaking up after WrestleMania just like Toxic Attraction broke up? And Hulk Hogan made a video endorsing the Rougeau brothers for the WWE Hall of Fame.
I don't know what the Rougeau brother thing is all about, but they deserve it. I mean, those guys did a lot for WWE back in the day, as well as the Damage Control situation. I don't know if they're going to be breaking up or not, but me personally, factions are cool. You can make them work for only so long. That's one thing about factions that, they're only going to work for only so long. Have Damage Control run its course? I don't think so. Me personally, I don't know. People saying, Bayley is kind of like getting lost in the shuffle because she's not out there on her own. Sometimes you need to get lost in the shuffle just so you can, be lost for a while and then, reinvent yourself, a year, from now. Trying to be on top all the time, that's burnout city. Trust me, it's just not something you can sustain. So for Bayley to be doing what she's doing, I don't have a problem. I'm not opposed to that at all. But are they going to break up after WrestleMania? I don't know. That's a question for the booking committee.
Yeah, I don't see that, and I don't think they've had enough of a run, in my opinion. But maybe they will. Who knows? I just think it's got a fun match.
I just think the talk right now is people talking about Bayley. Bayley's not, in that picture, where with Charlotte, with the major players, because I think that's got a lot to do.
But you are right. Like sometimes you got to cool off a little bit to get hot again. And for me, if they look at Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, after that WrestleMania loss to Charlotte, she was kind of on the back burner for a year or two. Really, I mean, she did some stuff, but she was hidden. She was hidden.
And she did a great job being hidden because she was still being seen at the same time.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
Ooh, that was some game, guy. Y'all don't realize that was some game right there.
But that's the thing right there. People think this business is something that it totally isn't. And longevity is the key. It really is.
It really is. Well, we have more super chats to get to, Book, but I think we have to take a quick break.
You guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Nathan Wasser, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I came down here to Reality of Wrestling to improve my training and get myself more experience learning from the absolute best. It's intense. It's hard. You got to leave your ego at the door and come in with an open mind. The way they do stuff here is the next level. But if you do that, you'll end up bettering yourself in the end, and you'll improve, and you'll be able to work anywhere.
Nathan, he's an unbelievably awesome student. I'll tell you why, right? For a few reasons. Number one, The man packed up all the way from the Great White North to move down here to the U.S. to train because he wanted to learn from one of the best. But what's even more impressive, on top of the fact that he takes care of his body, he works hard, is the fact that he was trained by a very reputable trainer and yet still comes down here humble, hungry, ready to work and ready to learn, and not coming in here acting like he knows everything or that he's too rigid in his ways.
Booker's knowledge will help you get to whatever goals you want to do if you want to be a big star in this industry. My end goal is to be in WWE. Coming down here to Reality of Wrestling, I feel is the best opportunity for me to get there. So I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can promise you, when you come to Reality of Wrestling, it will change your life. You will not regret it.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We just chopping it up. We taking super chats today, guys. Everybody's taking us through this show today. All super chats, and that's what I love about this show. We can come in with a plan. We can have a strategy, a blueprint, and we just throw it out the window. It's one of those things like Johnny Cochran said, if you don't believe them, any part of their story, just wipe it out. Wipe it out. Throw it out. And that's what's happening with a lot of our shows because we got the super chatters taking us through this thing. We appreciate you.
They just walk us through it. We do. Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Brooklyn Brian.
Wipe it out.
Did he sound like that? I don't remember. Wipe it out. I don't remember.
Wipe it out. Wipe it out.
A lot of gravel in the voice there. Brooklyn Bryan says, how was Dragon Lee's NXT debut at the house show? I don't know if you don't go to the NXT house show.
No, I don't go to the house shows, but this kid is definitely someone that's on the radar. He's supposed to be next level. He's supposed to be top notch. I can't wait to see Dragon Lee inside the NXT arena doing his thing, and hopefully he can rise to the level of competition at NXT, because I'm gonna tell you right now, we got some players, man. We got some young, hungry lions in NXT, and don't sleep on those Dragunovs, the number one stunners, those JD McDonald's of NXT, as well as that kid Carmelo Hayes, and it's a host. It's a host of young talent that's looking to be tested, put to that ultimate test. And I want to see if Dragon Lee live up to the hype, because this dude got a lot of hype behind him right now. Everybody's talking about Dragon Lee. Big contract. Just signed a big contract. We don't know how big the contract is, but we heard it's a big contract. And when you sign a big contract, we want results, baby. We want to see it. We ain't waiting. We ain't going to put you on the bench. We're going to put you right in the game. We're going to start you, and we're going to see exactly how this thing play. I hope he's on television, this week. We'll see.
We'll have to see. Brooklyn Bryan comes back with another one. Thoughts on who Jade Cargill's Canadian opponent will be? Maybe Taya Valkyrie. She is Canadian. How about Mercedes Moné's next challenger? How about AZM, a Starlight Kid, and a high-speed match? A lot of questions here. I don't know who's next for Mercedes Moné. I don't know about a high-speed match, but we can talk about Jade Cargill. I know AEW is going to be, I think, in Winnipeg. Are they in Winnipeg this week? I think they're in Canada, no less. And Jade Cargill called out whatever Canadian bum wants to answer her challenge. She's still undefeated. I hear a lot of smoke around Taya Valkyrie being the person. She's wrapped up in AAA and MLW. It makes a lot of sense. She's Canadian. Do you have any particular thought on not only Jade Cargill's Canadian opponent, but when should this undefeated streak come to an end?
I don't know when it should come to an end. Maybe it should have come to an end already. I don't know. I don't know what they're building Jade Cargill for. It seemed like they're, like I say, got her on her own island. She's doing her own thing. She's just padding the record. I don't know, I don't know where this thing's going. Who's going to be the opponent? I don't think it's going to be Valkyrie, just because, Valkyrie's pretty big. She's a big girl. Mm-hmm. I don't think that match and that matchup would play out well, on television, properly, for the streak. I just don't see that. So I think the opponent is going to be somebody else. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong just because I don't know a whole lot about AEW and what those guys are doing over there. But I'm just looking from a certain perspective. And like I say, Valkyrie, that's a big girl. She's huge. And I just think that matchup would not be right for Jade Cargill as far as Monet, who's her next opponent going to be. I don't know what's going on in that Stardom group over there. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't watch it. It's not my I wouldn't say it's not my cup of tea or anything like that, but it's just, not so. I always said it. Most Americans aren't sitting around watching Japanese TV. We're just not doing it.
Agreed. And I don't know when you could find time.
Exactly my point. You know what I mean? So, but I'm a big fan of Monet, and hopefully, whoever the opponent is, she'll go out and shine like new Monet, like she does.
I see what you did there. I know we have more super chats now. This is from Brooklyn Brian, who said D'Lo Brown did commentary on Impact Wrestling. So,
D'Lo Brown. That's another brother. Yeah. But not many. You know what I mean? Not many. And D'Lo Brown, he doesn't talk like me. Nobody has flavor like I do. Nobody throw in the salt and pepper. You know what I mean? And mix it up like I do. That's what's different about me. It's gonna be spicy. It's gonna be off the wall, off beat sometime. Yeah. My octave might go up, to
the utmost, baby.
Like get there. That's just part of what I do, man. But not to offend anybody.
Well, guess what? Dave Meltzer is in the chat. It says, Talk smack now, fool. I got soul. I don't think this is the real Dave Meltzer. But it is a Dave Meltzer, a guy named Dave Meltzer.
You know what? I don't think he has soul. Has he ever been in any dance contest?
I like how that's your soul barometer. Have you been in a dance contest? Okay. If yes, move to question 2. Have you been invited to the cookout? If yes.
No, not the cookout. Have you ever been to Popeyes? Not just been to Popeyes. Have you had the chicken sandwich? Smack on that, Dave.
the landlord harassment channel wants to know, book, fan, and regular super chatter here facing a bogus eviction. Would you shout out my YouTube so that I can get the word out about my situation? Well, this is called a landlord harassment channel. There you go. Go figure out what's going on there. I don't know. You gotta pay a little bit bigger to get an endorsement from Booker T. I'll read the super chat for you. I don't want the endorsement coming from him unless there's a bigger check. But we appreciate you, landlord harassment channel, for the $5.
That's wrong, man. Hopefully you get that situation.
Yeah. We don't want that bogus eviction. That's not good. Eviction's not good already, but a bogus eviction.
Oh really I had to go through that myself. I had to go to court. My landlord, came up with some trumped up charges.
Wait a minute. I was about to move to the next one, but I gotta know.
Let's move to the next one.
I gotta know what the charges were.
Let's move on. People, I don't want no smoke.
Okay. We'll move on. Ross Ferguson said, I didn't know your interview with the $1 Million Man was live. I met him in Glasgow quite a long time ago. He was so nice to me. Yeah, Ted DiBiase is the best. Now, I will say, Ross, you wrote the $1 Million Man. I think you meant $1 Million Man. But nevertheless, I understood what you meant. Landlord Harassment Channel is back. I noticed that you get extra excited on commentary when Dean Ambrose was out there. Was he one of your favorites to call matches for? So now John Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, I like Dean Ambrose.
Friend of the show.
He was a guy that was off the chart, man. He was off the wall. And that's one reason I think he left WWE, because he just wanted to be him. He wanted to be the guy that goes out and just wrestle. You want to be the wrestler. And I get that. I love guys like that. And John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, one and the same. I love both of those guys' work. Really did. I mean, right now, John Moxley, he's a little out there with the blade and stuff and what's going on. Hopefully, we can pull him back a little bit as far as that goes. But other than that, man, I love what Dean Ambrose does.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of John Moxley in general. I will say, I do agree. Like, the blood in every match, and I know we're not the only people who said this, and I'm not trying to criticize him at all, but it is just like, okay, yeah, like it's 30 seconds in, you got hit with a forearm and you're like busted open. It's like, it doesn't have the same effect. I will tell you, one of the great bleeders of all time is Shawn Michaels. When Shawn Michaels got color, it was all over his face, but it was only in the most dramatic of matches, right? In the most high intensity, into the feud. I just won the Elimination Chamber, blood on the face kind of things. And I think that if you're going to use it, I'm not a big proponent of it anymore, nor was I ever. I don't know how you feel about getting color in today's society. But if you are going to use it, save it for those big moments. And that's what it'll mean more, right?
Yeah. When it's unexpected, and when it's one of these matches to where, just say, for instance, Danielson just had an Iron Man match.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I can see it happening in matches like that. Just to do it. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I've never been a real big fan of bleeding myself personally, throughout my career. That's just not something that I was, good at. But it's one of those things to where fans, blood and gore, it goes together. People gravitate to it. I watch, these shows, See No Evil, on the detective channel. I'm watching some murder show, every week, just because, man, I'm entertained by it. And I know somebody's going to die. I know somebody's going to get killed. But it entertains me. So when people see the blood and gore, just like back in the day, it still has that same effect, I think, with certain people. I think that's why AEW, fans are, the way they are. They love it. They're a different breed. Stick around. We got to take a break. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Will Allday versus Cameron Cole. Texas champion versus Reality of Wrestling champion. Years in the making. Ex-best friend versus ex-best friend. I know what I'm getting into. I know you're one of the most exciting, high-flying wrestlers in the business today. And for every punch you have, Will, I know the counter punch. Long ago, the years where we used to train together. And I remember every move. I remember everything in your arsenal, Will. So what is it gonna take? You see, for me, I'll do whatever it takes, and you're gonna find that out, Will.
Will Allday versus Cam Cole once again. But this time it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be best friend versus best friend now. It's not gonna be me looking in your eyes knowing that at the end of this, we just wanna see who the better man is. Yeah, let's talk about that match. And Cam, I knew getting into the ring with you then, how good you were. Cam, I know now that you're even more dangerous. But Cam, you strayed. Ever since you and I faced in that last match, a year ago, something changed. When you started walking down this dark path where you would do anything to win, Cam. And you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like weakness.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're getting close to wrapping this thing up. But let's roll with these super chatters, man. Let's get them out of here.
Yes, yeah, we'll move on to the next super chat right now as I try to pull it up. Switch my screen here. This one comes from Brooklyn Brian again. Brooklyn Brian says, MJF's re-bar mitzvah is this Wednesday. Let's go, MJF. Yes, okay.
Big ups to MJF.
MJF's the guy. He's the guy, man. We'll see how it goes.
Brother done got in shape too. Let me put it out there. MJF has got into some incredible shape. The brother been hitting the weights. He's been in the gym training, hanging and banging in the zone. Abs looking right. I don't know if he's got that new military ab device, but the brother a six-pack is looking right as of late. So whatever you're doing, man, send me your workout plan because I'm always trying to stay in shape, bro.
This is from the. By the way, if you haven't seen the pictures of MJF's actual bar mitzvah, so for those you don't know, bar mitzvah is when someone of Jewish heritage turns 13 years old, they become a man. It looked like he had strippers at his actual bar mitzvah. I mean, he had scantily clad women. He had WWE merchandise all over the place. He even had a cake that said Mad Max versus Chris Jericho at that year's WrestleMania. So he's been a fan for a long time, and it's awesome to kind of have to see him in the position that he's in now. This is from the Landlord Harassment Channel again, who says, plot twist, Booker T becomes the new Bloodline leader.
Too much TV time, man. It's too much TV time, man. I ain't got time to be getting that call every week saying, hey, man, we need you. Hotel. Man, yeah, that's a hard job, man. I swear. Like doing NXT 52 weeks out of the year, that's a toll on my schedule, bro. This is a big monkey wrench, in the plan of retirement for the old man. I'm serious. So no, I'm going to pass up on that job. Seriously.
We have a new channel member, Elijah WWE Boy. There it is. A new channel member just happened. So we appreciate you. And now here is a big story that's breaking today, just as of an hour or so ago, while we've been on the air. This is from Loso Dolo, who says, what's going on with Bray? And yeah, there are reports from Fightful.com and Sean Ross Sapp that Bray Wyatt might be off for a considerable amount of time dealing with an undisclosed medical injury. That's what we know right now. Of course, we knew that he was being programmed to face Bobby Lashley at this year's WrestleMania. There's no real news other than he's dealing with a physical issue, and they're not sure when he could return. There were reports that he walked out due to creative issues, but those are unsubstantiated. It seems as though he's had some physical ailment, which if that's the case, terrible timing, obviously, right before WrestleMania. But second, Bray Wyatt is going to be a fascinating documentary someday, because I can't think of somebody who's had the kind of run that he has had. And I will say, from a fan's perspective, and I've got all the respect in the world for Bray Wyatt, but I'm not trying to qualify what I'm about to say or justify it. I will say his most recent run has left much to be desired, in my opinion. It just hasn't clicked in the same way. And honestly, when I saw Bobby was going to be working Bray, I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I guess. Yeah. I wasn't sold on it. But I don't obviously want the match to be off in any regard, because I'm sure they're going to come up with something creative. But it's no good for Bobby, and obviously no good for Bray. I don't know if you have a reaction to Bray potentially being sidelined with injury. Not confirmed yet, but it seems to be.
Not just that. Bray Wyatt, just to piggyback what you was just saying, as far as less to be desired, I think it's due to trying to find the momentum of what Bray Wyatt was before he left.
Mm-hmm.
Bray Wyatt before he left was, man, Bray Wyatt, as far as the guy that they were, selling all the merchandise, putting in, these certain kind of matches. We still was trying to figure out what Bray Wyatt really was, but we were hanging on. All right, we were on the ride, and then Bray Wyatt left, and then now coming back and to try to pick that momentum up again or try to find new momentum. I think it's been difficult. I really do. I just think it's been difficult to find what lane am I really, supposed to be riding in. Am I, the magical guy, or am I just a regular guy now, or am I both? That right there is a tangled web we weave. And I heard Alec Murdoch say that before they locked him up. Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think that's got a lot to do with it.
Well, murderous references aside, I think that with Bray, if he was just himself, it cut the similar kind of promos, but without all the mysticism and the Demon and the Firefly Funhouse and all that, I actually think it could connect.
Let me tell you. Look, I said it. You know what? No, you can agree to disagree with me or not. Okay, but the stories in wrestling is one thing, but people want to see you wrestle. Okay?
Yeah.
And I think that's what Bray Wyatt has not been going out and really making the people feel a certain way, because honestly, since he's been back, he hadn't been doing a whole lot of it.
No, he's had one match, I think.
Am I right? I mean, am I right? Am I right here? What?
I think the Pitch Black match has been it.
He haven't been doing any wrestling, and that's what this is. It's a wrestling business, and I think it's a disconnect there. The story is one thing, especially before, with Firefly Funhouse. He was a part of the show that people knew, and now coming back, trying to recreate that. Yeah, sometimes it seemed like, man, the Firefly Funhouse is there, and then sometimes it's not. It's not. We don't know what Bray Wyatt really is, and I think that right there is, that momentum, not being able to get any momentum because I don't know what lane I'm supposed to be in.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely be right on that, but I think the biggest point you made is it is the wrestling business, and us fans, the talking is great, but we want to see it pay off with something. And Bray, I don't know when month he came back in, but it's been several months since he's returned, and to have the one match at the Rumble, which was a great Royal Rumble, but that was the most panned match on the card due to the gimmickry of it.
Yeah. There again. We got to figure out what are we here for and what are we doing? And I think that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest disconnect. I could be wrong, but that's what I see with the Bray Wyatt character.
We have a couple super chats before we have to wrap for the day. Brooklyn Bryan said Mad Max Mania, MJF had the upside down WWE logo first. Yeah, at his bar mitzvah, they were all upside down WWE logos like the Miz. Steve Soleil says, my son wants to go train with Booker T in 4 years after high school, and Booker T is definitely the best commentator in WWE by far.
I wouldn't say the best, all right, but I say I'm different. I say I'm holding my own. I'm having fun in NXT. Let's just say that. I try not to put myself on a pedestal or anything like that. I'm trying to hold on to this job for a minute.
You know what? Real quick, you might not say that. He said that. Steve said it though. So so the compliment is there. But we were talking about the Hall of Fame before. The WWE Hall of Fame this year. I'm going to throw a name out there. This just popped in my head. Michael Cole. Michael Cole, I think, has earned his spot. Maybe not this year, but eventually.
Yeah, I think Cole definitely is a Hall of Famer, man. He's a guy that, has put in so much time at that job, on the road, in the trenches, dodging landmines. And people don't really understand that job and how difficult it is, as well as how much time he's put in on a weekly basis. I can't remember Cole missing any days. I'm serious. I can't remember him taking any off days. So he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Give him props.
Give Michael Cole, give Michael Cole the nod, man.
Yeah.
I mean, how long has he been there? 25 years?
Maybe, close to
26.
Gotta be close. Yeah, gotta be close to 30. Yeah.
Close to 30.
I think it's closer to 30 than it is to 20.
Man, it's just incredible.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
An incredible run. And this guy, he was a serious news war reporter.
Yeah.
And I think he came in because of was it Todd Pendergast or something? Not Todd Pentangale. Todd Pentangale or something brought him in.
Yeah.
And boy, man, has he taken the ball and run with it. And to
hell of a
me,
job. It's a great job to have, man. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, he's done well. He's treated him well. Sure, he's enjoying his life right now, being able to sit back and enjoy a little bit of the fruits of the labor and watch other guys, put other guys in position, like myself. I appreciate Michael Cole, what he's done for me and my family, man. He's been a guy that's been in my corner for many, many years. And I must say, man, I appreciate that dude.
Man, when I was coming up, watching SmackDown, I used to love when The Undertaker would do a rare match on SmackDown and he'd hit the old school. And then you'd hear Michael Cole, that's vintage Undertaker. Like I would always wait for him to say, it's vintage Booker T. It's vintage Undertaker. It's vintage something.
Yeah.
Last super chat of the day, we got Brooklyn Bryan, who said, Wyatt must bring back the Fiend.
That might be what he needs. It really, that might be what he needs. But is that what the company needs?
Yeah.
because the Fiend was there again, a character that nobody could beat. Everybody that wrestled the Fiend, no one really came out on a great side. Even Bray didn't come out on a great side. The person that he worked with, no one really got anything out of it. So I don't know. I really don't know if that's the right idea or not. It may be the right idea for him, but is it the right direction to go for the company? That's the question.
Well, Book, we've come to an end on a classic episode of the Hall of Fame. By the way, the shirts. We'll announce some shirts maybe next episode, right? We got shirts coming.
Yeah, things are working out finally. Hey, but stick around, guys. We got a whole lot more for the remainder of the week. Make sure you guys tune in to the Hall of Fame. Get your champagne wishes, caviar dreams. I want to thank all of my guys in the comment. Cali Toenail, you going in the Hall of Fame one day, bro. We you know what? We putting you in. But I want to thank you, Brad, as always, for doing the heavy lifting. But same place, same time, here in the Hall of Fame right now. Peace. We out of here.